nothing. As the properties, we are different too. There's a home for everybody.
Hello, this is the third lesson I learned over 8 years building my business. Right? I've done the first lesson and the second lesson, and I encourage you to go and watch them. So the third lesson I learned building my business is that your business will either rise or fall to the level of pressure you are willing to bear. I will say that again. Your business will either rise or fall to the level of pressure you are willing to bear. You know, every business go through periodic challenges, periodic difficulties, issues, and all of that. And it's a necessary part of business. And when we started, I had a very ugly experience, very serious and terrible experience. You know, I purchased a property from a family, and I borrowed 450 million naira from a bank, and then I purchased this property and paid. After payment, we went there to start work, and we realized that this same family had sold this property to a military colonel, retired, before selling to us, right? So it became a major issue. And I didn't just realize this immediately. Before I realized this, I had also sold the property to someone else. I collected the money, I paid the bank, and then the profit, I had spent it already. And I now got into sight to realize that the property I was working on was actually sold to a military colonel before me. And that issue started. You know, the family, the military family and all of that, they began to have issues with us, and we began to drag this property. And what happened was that immediately this thing happened. My partners left me. My friends ran away. Everybody, I was just left alone. And I was dealing with the issue on two fronts. On one hand, the family that I bought from had sold to this other military family. I had to deal with that. And then on the other hand, I had sold to a client, and a corporate client, a company at that. And they were also, you know, having issues with me. And all of these things were going on. And at this point, I had two options: shut down this business and run, or stay and fight and then have the chances or explore the chances of keeping the business. I remember this is the very first transaction we were doing as a business. This is the very first purchase we're doing at that capacity, at that level, you know, as a real estate business. So I chose to fight. I chose to stay back and then look for a way to solve the issues and all of that. And I began to engage these three families: the family that sold to me, the military family that bought it before me, and then the corporate organization that I sold to. I started engaging with all of these people. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of energy. It took a lot of money. It took a lot of things. A lot of mediation from different parties for me to come to a point where I was able to resolve this issue, you know. And I would have regretted giving up on my business if I did. If I did not stay back to fight, by now, I'm very sure I'll be regretting. And through this experience, I learned three very important lessons. Number one is that I learned to always remember my solid why, right? I realized that in business, one thing that will keep you going when you begin to encounter challenges, when you begin to encounter difficulties, and some of these issues that look like they don't have an end, they don't have problem, is for you to always remember your why. Always remember the reason why you went into business at first, right? And you also need to remember, or you also need to note, that you don't just need to remember your why, you need to remember your solid why. That why, that reason must be solid enough. The reason why you went into that business must be solid enough. To make money is not a reason to start a business. It's not a genuine reason. It's not a solid reason. And what I have discovered over the years through research and experience is that business is built to make money, hardly live beyond the founder. If you're interested in building a solid business, a business that will live up to a century and more, you have to find a way to get a solid why, a why that is beyond just making money, right? So you need to make sure that you have a solid why for going into business. And when you are faced with these challenges, you need to find a way to constantly and always remind yourself of the reason why you went into business at first, right? The second thing I learned from this experience is that you need to become more strategic and less emotional, right? In business, you need to focus more on strategy than emotion. When difficult times come, when issues come, and all of that, you need to find a way to push through. But you will never find that way to push through if your mind is clouded, is beclouded by emotions. Many times, the tough time we are going through, the challenges, the things that are not working, the things that we have lost, and all of those experiences are the major things stopping us from switching to the path of strategy to find ways that we can solve this problem, to find ways that we can mitigate these issues and get ourselves out of that challenge. All right. So when you are faced with a challenge, when I am faced with a challenge, what my first response is always to look beyond what I am going through, look beyond the issues, look beyond the challenges, to now begin to ask myself immediately, what exactly do I need to do to solve this problem? What exactly do I need to do to get out of this? And then you see, there are phases that your business go through, which I have also discovered. Forget about anything that you have been taught in your business school, in your training, and all of those things. This one I'm telling you is experience from the streets, experience from someone that has gone through them, right? There are 3 stages that you must go through. I want to quickly sketch it so that you will get what I'm about to share. So now, from experience, I realized that there are 3 stages that I was able to discover throughout all of these years. I discovered that there is a stage that is called the pre-launch, which is the days before I launch my business, right? And then I discovered that there is also a period that is called the latter days. Latter days. And these are, when you now sit down to do the job of an MD, a CEO, and all of that. But between this place and this place, there are some things that you must take note of. Number one is that at the pre-launch stage of your business, you are playing the role of product design. You are doing product design. Your work is to design your product to make sure that the product you are going into the market is actually what the people you are targeting can get, can use, and they will fall in love with it. But the moment you launch your business, which is these are the early days of your launch, right? The moment you launch your business, there are 2 important things that you will do apart from this product design function. I said it in my yesterday's video that you begin to play the role of the CMO in the early days. You are more involved in making sure that sales are coming in, that clients and prospects are coming in, that money is flowing into the business, right? But the moment you begin to succeed in doing this work of the CMO, though you are the CEO, you realize that because of the so much sales coming in, so much demand coming in, you get to a point where you begin to have a lot of crisis. And this problem is that a lot of demand will lead to not fulfilling some promises, not fulfilling some things. Some of your clients getting dissatisfied, a lot of issues coming on from delivery. And that will automatically force you as the CEO to begin to play the role of crisis manager. So you now begin to play a crisis management role as a CEO. Your job as the CEO, as the MD at this point, is managing crisis. You manage all the crises coming into the business. You have to be hands-on resolving these issues directly face-to-face with your clients, right? Even if you have customer care and other people that you need to get involved in this. I realized that at this point, in the early days of your business, you will discover that your most important role now as the CEO is putting out fire. Any day you come into your office, something is going wrong here, something is not happening there, this one is going here and this one is going there, right? You begin to handle those crises. And then it is when you succeed at these two levels, you have brought in a lot of sales and you have made sure that sales are coming into your organization. And then over time, you have built a team that can make sure that this same sales continues coming in, and then the issues coming into the business are being mitigated and solved. That you move over to the later days of your business when you sit down as the MD or the CEO. This is where you sit down in the later days. But as long as you are still at this startup phase, anything you are doing in your office that does not have to do with improving your product, does not have to do with getting your clients to buy, and does not have to do with fulfilling those promises and demands and solving crises in your business, you are in error once you are not doing these three things. All right. That is the second thing I learned through this experience. I was not just doing products. I was making sure that sales are coming in. And then immediately we began to make sales. Crisis, problems, challenges began to come. I switched and became the crisis manager. The third lesson I learned from this particular experience is that you need to run scenario analysis periodically and create contingency plans, right? This will help you to be more prepared for the business challenges that come, right? How I do it is that in January of every year, I call my team together in our annual management retreat and I ask them some questions like, what are the things that can go wrong in this year? What are the things that can possibly happen that will affect our business? What are the worst things that can happen in this year? At the beginning of 2025, we did the same thing again in January, right? Early this month. And I asked them the question, what are the things that can possibly go wrong this year that will affect our business? And we listed every single thing from A to Z. And then we began to create plans, contingency plans. If A happens, we will do B. If A and B happen together, we will do C. And then we want you to make sure that there is a solution to every problem we can think of. Note that you cannot rule out or solve all the problems that your business will have. No, it's not possible. You cannot even have a clear thought of everything that can happen, right, during the year of running your business. But when you run scenario analysis, you will see at least the ones that you can find, the ones that you can take note of. You take note of every single thing that can possibly go wrong and what you will do when these things happen. It will help you to react less during the year. It will help you to react less when things happen. And you just need to be doing plug and play. You go back to your plans and your strategy documents and you pick out some of those solutions, throw it at the problem, and your business keeps running. All right. So you need to learn how to run scenario analysis periodically and create contingency plans. All right. So this is the third lesson I learned in these 8 years of actively building my business. Thank you and see you tomorrow.
There's room for everybody.